some things would have been well explained. You understand? So a lot happening in that 2 hours. So to me, everything was so like, let me just say, it was yeah, it was really bumped together. So
hey guys, welcome to Burning Believers Network YouTube channel. If you're just joining us, please do also hit the subscribe button right about now. And this is our first ever video, Ray. Alright, drum rolls. My name is Agbelisi Adesumisala and I have here with me
video.
Alright, on to this beautiful day, we'll be looking at a review of the just released Lips
Under Siege by Monzia in Ministry.
Exactly. We'll be looking at Under Siege, a new you just released, Monzia movie that was done by damilolamikebamiloye, and it was amazing. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of all that we have for you today, we'd like to do an overview of all the Monzia movies that we've watched so far. How do you think it is, Joel? How do you think it has been so far, Joel?
It has been an awesome experience. At least, aside from these secular movies all around, we can even have something to watch, and your mind won't be polluted. You can still stay burning, still be on fire and all of that. So it's an awesome experience, actually.
I agree 100% with what Adebayo said, because I feel like the actual word is relatable. Monzia movies are the most relatable movie to any believer out there, to any Christian out there who's looking forward to growth, basically. And the crazy thing or the funny thing is that it's not just to believers, so actually unbelievers. I mean, the likes of Abejoye, the likes of Abatio, is it the likes of, so I can't even name them. Is it the likes of the Copper's Lodge that was also recently released? I mean, there's just a lot, and it teaches not just us believers, but then brings unbelievers from the pit of hell where they've been under siege, like this currently released movie. Sure, again, sure, that's pretty amazing. I'll call it a very powerful one. All right, so what's the plot summary of all the Under Siege movie that was recently released?
I think basically the movie is about the music. And one thing that really surprised me, it takes a lot of intentionality, a lot of efforts, because definitely to grasp the content in, you understand, think it's more on music or popularity, fame, on how we, the young generation now, how we are so desperate that there's nothing we can. We just want this popularity, just want, even when it's not coming, but we are just desperate. I want to blow.
Sure, just like Timmy said, I must blow. I mean, for me, I'd basically say it was, apart from the fact that it was amazing, there was just something to learn. There was something to pick from it, because, looking at other unbelievers or believers are there too. I mean, who would say, Timmy was also a believer now. But he still wanted the fame that even unbelievers, would always want. And then I would not blame him. I just see that the movie was able to depict, the troubles that comes with going after the things of the devil, basically. But we're not saying that fame is from the devil. We're just saying that it was gotten through a crooked means. And whatever is gotten through a crooked means will definitely go in, it will take a lot from you. Just like you almost took Koladi's life. Let's all lie. Okay, next online here, we have that, what's the musical element and the soundtrack? How was it for you, basically? Point out the funny aspect of it.
Okay, there's a lot of funny aspects. So, not to make this video long, so I'm going to just say it. Okay, the most funny moment was that was the beginning when Timney when he started, was so funny inside your room. Was it? So what actually made me to laugh was the part I say she blew kisses to the.
Why are you waving at?
Your fans now, the two fans that you have, are there more? Or it's just these two? Mwah, mwah. How y'all doing?
Please, for the last time, get out of my room.
How's everybody doing tonight? Through the ups and downs, through the.
Boy, that part was actually funny. But I think the second part was doing the class where the lecturer and the
lecturer sang.
Like how they said that I need to even go out because of this guy. Once you send this guy out, we are also leaving. Social part also was fun too.
So how many people wanna end up just like him? Put down your hands! You didn't get me the first time.
Fun too.
But I'm actually
For me, so I will not lie, I was still from his point because that part of that class part was actually the most funniest part for me. I mean, the student answering the yes with the way, you know, the song flow and all of that. So that part was funny. And the parts where Kolade went to meet Elder, right? So that part was a little bit scary, but then I felt like it was funny. Right, it was actually, and the part that Mike Abdul sang to that part where it was straight, was also looking for Kolade, you know, and there was singing to Timile. That part was actually, was not, I want to say it's funny, but then it was, I know it made me laugh in a way, Sha, because, you know, this
Hey, gaisebaba.
Held at once.
Sha, because, you know, this, you know, gospel musicians, you know, acting and singing. And
the amazing thing that this news movie, like, it showcases a lot of new talents, and like this is the first time we seeing Mike Abdul, gaisebaba,
and great man take.
honestly, and the truth is they really know.
So what would you rate the cinematography and the production quality?
I'll give the kudos to them, because honestly it's not actually easy, but everything is actually in line. The visual quality was super. The lighting, everything was, I give it today.
That was amazing.
I think actually.
Sorry that I'm taking you back, but another part that stood out for me too was when the Imam, oh my God, was singing. That very funny part. Like I could just relate to this song. I mean, it just lifted my spirit. That particular song part where Imam, oh my God, showed. So now moving on.
Somebody shout hallelujah.
So now moving on to the cinematography and the production quality, I would actually give it a 10, if not 100 over 100, say, because it was actually very, I mean, there was no difference between, no crack, there was nothing, it was just, it was 100%. Yeah, so another one here says, how would you rate the acting and the character delivery? How was it for you? Did you feel like everybody delivered their part extremely well?
Yes. That's why I was saying something that showcases a lot of new talent. The likes of gaisebaba, the likes of
I never knew they might take you to that.
Baba said, but at least, like, they actually deliver their parts. So that's actually amazing. I don't, jaymikee, I said, to the purpose. Amazing, with, kids, which is, Mama Dad saying to know everybody delivered. It was 100% for me, actually.
Yeah. It was 100% for me too, not because it's a kind of movie, but then I mean, it's just I have to give it 100 over 100 because I never knew Great Manteki. Great Manteki is one of those, gospel musicians that I like. I'm not gonna lie. Jigget, so then seeing him act for the very first time was like, oh wow, this is beautiful. Jigget, gaisebaba too was Mike Abdul. I think I've seen Mike Abdul act before, but then like, I was just seeing him a full character of this very villain person in the movie. And again, yeah, Mama Darasimi has been in the work, but then she tried. That was Kid Ba. Yeah, it was really amazing. I think I should actually give all of them kudos. It really makes sense. So the next part here says, was the acting natural or spiritual for you? How was it for you?
I was in both. Because one of the things watching Monzia movie, one of the things it does is that even why it might look natural, the spiritual moments is not. Let me just say those parts are actually it's being done with intentionality.
True.
Really, the part here, similar instruments where they are praying and all of that. Even you physically while be watching movie, even you say you be feeling and it just good, but yeah, the spirit never enjoy them with me. And most of them will be like, I'll watch the same experience. The only thing it covers God, maybe the other session too. Like, the movie was 100%.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I would also say it was more of natural and even more spiritual because I mean I knew you got to a point. The first part where I started to feel the whole thing was when then they sang this song. Imam, oh my God, sang this multi-song. I mean, for the Yorubas, if you know the meaning of that song, it's like I've been lost in the shackles of the devil, jigge, but then God brought me back. And that was looking like the story of Kolade at the moment because I mean, you felt like it was already stuck at some point. And then now seeing that Timmy wanted to put his own head into it again to know that how they
Kolade guy. And the fact that he doesn't want his friend also to Wait, there's only somewhere.
My best friend, you want to join the girl?
Actually, that somewhere had kids and his mother that was also praying for him, but then he just turned their
Yes,
foot.
basically let people did now. This is that so get so was at least you're going to go to like yeah, I remember something now. Other days are not funny moment. Yeah, I remember now when Kolade was asking Timileyin, okay, what can you do? Can you pay the price to blow? He said, yes, I can pay. How much is it? I have 45,000 in my account. It's true.
At least all of us started from somewhere, at least.
See, I get 45k.
Wow.
Not. It's true. That time was funny as well. What was funny? 5,000. Oh.
Another one says, the message and the spiritual impact. Did they feel more like a spirit? Okay, I think we've answered that already. It felt more like a spiritual experience. Yes, definitely. So what was the gospel message like? What would you, if you had to say it in like few words, just like 15 seconds or so, what would be that particular message that stood out for you that you would like to share?
So what stood out for me is the fact that even when the visibility, just Timileyin dad was telling him, when kids invited him for a concert, turned the offer down. He was fed up about everything and he was just unlike him. Also, his dad talked to him, he was thinking, wishing him all of that. So what actually stood out, the message that stood out for me, the fact that even when the pain, the visibility and all that did not come in, but it's God visibility that actually can, only God that can give you visibility that don't add anything to it. So even if you look like, people you started together, they have gone far, but yet stay with God.
Sure.
Stay with God.
At the end of the day, you remember what I said at the end of the movie, that did all of them not come back to church at the end of the year? After running left, after running right, saying that jigget, at the end of the day, the three of them actually still came back to their roots. I mean, that's or I would say that's the most beautiful aspect of that. The fact that all of them, it's just like but then, all of them went helter-skelter, and at the end of the day, still decided to come. Not still decided, the power of God still brought them back. And and one thing again that I learned is that Kate did not stop talking. Kate did not stop talking. She kept speaking. Whether even when Timileyin was angry with her, saying that, what's your business? Can't you mind your business? That kind of thing. She kept talking. She kept talking. She's like, me, you will not keep me, you will not make me go quiet. So it's the preaching. Even the brother was tired of at some point. And I preach, won't preach, that kind of thing. But still keep talking. Whether they feel like, oh, you're doing too much. And at the point, Simi thought that she was doing too much by invading his privacy and going to carry a report to the parent. Or was it not for the best? Was it not for the parents to actually caution him and then they not push? Exactly. So then, but
Right.
But Tim, it's true. You don't come for fellowship. You don't come to choir.
That other thing that comes is the fact that towards the end part when everybody when this thing Kolade was with Timileyin that in the house and Timileyin was outside. They were about to
born Timileyin.
What's that stood out from? You get to a point whereby even after being with gone out, like you notice that this thing is not something like this battle is not something you can fight.
Can't fight. Yes.
Yeah, they have to go spiritual trail. And one thing that again that stood out was the fact that they could follow this that could also pick it. Then Kate also could also take care, but they have your as you see the handles at the same point that we just pray, making prayers and all of that. No, that point also stood out for me. That
Don't intercede for my son.
then no, that's why I believe that we should. Nothing should just happen coincidence. Sure, it does happen coincidence. At least if something is going to happen in the family, you should be able to pick it that no, danger is coming. And you really did see the ahead of time. Sure. No, that part also stood up for me, and it was amazing how the family pick the signal and
they all pray together.
Yeah.
So we're coming to an end of this, but before then, we'll have what was the pacing and the flow like? Do you feel like, there should have been a part 2 of the movie, or do you just feel like it was? I feel like let me go first, because I feel like, at first I saw like 2 hours there, if I'm not mistaken. And then I was like, okay, I think this is going to be the end. But then apparently, my brother, saw that. Yeah, he felt like there was going to be a part 2 and all of that. But then I just felt like, no, I don't think there's going to be a part 2. I mean, they've kidnapped all that. Maybe he was wishing he really wanted a part 2 about it, but then I feel like if there's going to be a party, it will not really match. I said they want to bring in. I said they want to bring in some.
You know what? So the guy the is he commando, what is he called? When he died, then he resurrected back again.
Oh no, that one we definitely knew there was going to be a part. You know, there were other parts of the movie too that were not completed. You get, is like separate sections.
See, so, but to me, I would say it's too fast in the sense that a lot happens that rather in one movie, a lot. You know why movie actually is stressed to trying to gather these people. They have their own schedule. They have, but trying to bring them all together at time. So I think maybe that's why Mike Bamilo didn't actually want to make this movie long, but the movie could have been long. So I had some things could have been well explained. You understand? So a lot happened in that 2 hours. So to me, everything was so like, let me just say, it was it was really bumped together. So I really just have playing this out. We also have part 2, part 3, but yeah, that is it.
Okay. All right, but I think we've come to an end, right? So we've come to the end of the rating of the movie or the review of the movie called On Siege that was recently released by, damilolamikebamiloye. It was an amazing movie, to round off everything. It was beautiful. It was something worth watching. It was something to learn from. It was something worth sharing, right? What do you have to say to them?
So, okay, my verdict. Okay, the message aspect was 100%, give to them, and when talk about the production too, then the originality of the movie, that is 100%. The originality, my rate is 10/10. Let's say okay, let me just say production, 10/10. Now I want to say kudos to Mike Bamilo. It's not actually easy to gather this and even come up with this. Every time. One thing about his movies,
it's always in season and very inspirational.
Even as like the PNC and anything on the album is literally yes. No focus, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us. Please do not forget, if you've watched this and you like this, do also subscribe on our YouTube channel. We'd love it. And they will come up with even more and beautiful, amazing content for you to watch. Thank you. Bye, guys.